know what? This is what I'm saying. If the nutritionists, all these people know about this, all this stuff is affecting our gut, then why are we still doing this?
Because we're America.
America.
We live in America.
America.
It's processed. Oh my God.
What is happening with this processed food?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I hope we can get it together.
Man.
It is so annoying. I can't eat shit. Hello, and welcome back to Season 2 of I Can't Eat Shit podcast. I'm your host, actress, comedian Shondalia White. And yes, people, I can't eat shit, and you know that shit is annoying. I started I Can't Eat Shit podcast because I was secretly ill for many years. People asked me a lot of questions about it. So now I'm healed and I'm ready to talk about it. You can hear all about my solo journey in Season 1. But for Season 2, I'm spicing it up a little bit. And I'm bringing in some friends and experts to help me talk about things. And today, we have my good friend, culinary producer, and chef, Vianai Austin. And we'll be talking about how her restrictions have changed her life and her personal menu. So let's get into it. Hi, Vianai. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So that everyone knows how I know I'm actually a family friend of hers for over a decade. Can you believe that?
Man, it feels like it's been longer than that, actually.
It actually has been over a decade.
Crazy, yeah.
Crazy. And I, like you, we were talking about this, and I'm like, dang, I actually knew you when you were little.
I know, I was a child. Oh, God.
Playing basketball.
Yeah, I was young.
And she's a baller. She's a good baller. So check them stats. Check them stats.
Still got it.
Yes, but just transition it to a chef. Wait, before I get into the questions, how did you actually become a chef?
Oh, man. Okay, so I like to tell people this. It's been my calling since I was like 12, okay? Subconsciously. The universe is a crazy place, and it works in mysterious ways. So during the top of COVID time, I actually had lost my other job. I used to work in marketing promotions for a radio station and then the 99 cents only stores.
Right.
Yeah. Before they closed their company down. But I used to handle like all the social media stuff and like production stuff. And when I lost my job, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I was kind of bored and just felt like I wasn't focused or being in the right direction of what I really wanted to do. So I sat down and took some time to actually think about things. And I was actually talking with my best friend one day. And I was like, man, you know what would be cool? Just jokingly, if I actually took cooking seriously. I've always wanted to do that and be in food, be a part of food. I used to watch the Food Channel for long hours with my mom and my brother, and I was so obsessed with it, and I always wanted to work for the Food Network and the Cooking Channel, and I was like, maybe I should just, try it out, see if I actually like it. I was like, I really love food, and I love creating things with my hands.
Yes. I'm
gonna just go for it, and she supported me and convinced me to do it, and I was
boom.
Like, hey, I'm gonna do it.
And now you're a chef on Mythical Kitchen.
Yeah.
A celebrity chef at that. You got a fan base. You don't know how awesome that is. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely was unexpected, but
yeah. I mean, such is life, right? Such is life. And one of the reasons I wanted you on this episode of the podcast, I want you to be a guest on my podcast because I was just like, we talk about food so much and we talk about restrictions, and I know that you have some restrictions, but you're a chef. And I know that some of them were new and some of them were like something maybe that you have for a while. And I said, why not have her on? This will be interesting. I think it'll be an interesting take, and just to hear an actual chef's perspective on food sensitivities and gut health and just how you navigate that while being a chef. Yeah, it has to be.
It's tough.
It's a tough thing, right?
It's a tough world out here.
So the first thing, I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to ask you the first question. You told me that you had sensitivities towards dairy, sugar, red meat. When did you find out about your restrictions, and what did you do, and when did it start for you? Just when did it start for you?
Oh, okay. Man, I would say it started when I started cooking, actually, and started practicing a lot of different dishes and techniques, and was tasting food, because you always gotta taste your food.
Yes.
That's when I started realizing that my stomach was really sensitive when my palate was expanding, and dairy was causing me to have really bad, gas issues, just constipation, or my skin, even. It was affecting my skin really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it was my gut for a while until I had talked to somebody else about it. Mm-hmm. And they were like,
not a doctor.
No, it was a nutritionist, actually.
Oh, nutritionist. Okay.
And she was telling me, she was like, well, you're eating a lot of dairy, red meat. These are the things that can affect your gut. Maybe you should track back to it and try to fix that part first. And I was like, oh, shoot, duh, of course, right? So that's when I was like, okay, I need to actually take the time to realize what I'm eating and how it's affecting me and what ways can I change this to make it better.
You know what? This is what I'm saying. If the nutritionists, all these people know about this, all this stuff is affecting our gut, then why are we still doing this?
Because we're America.
America.
We live in America.
America.
It's processed. Oh my
What
God.
is happening with this processed food?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I hope we can get it together.
Man.
It is so annoying.
Yeah, it's so crazy, because this what also made me realize too is I call it the travel stomach. And it's when you go to another country,
yes,
and eat their food,
yes,
and you come back to America and you get sick from eating American food.
Yes,
that was happening to me every time I traveled.
Yes.
And I used to think it was because I was eating there, but it was really because of the foods I was eating here.
Yes.
And eating in other places. When I would go to Mexico, I went to Puerto Rico, even when I went to Canada, the food is so much cleaner. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you can even taste the difference tremendously. And I was like, oh no, I got the travel bug, the travel stomach. And that's just really also made me realize, I have to clean it up and have to go to even certain stores to get these things to make my stomach health better. And
I was going to ask you this. Look, what stores do you go to? Do you go to farmers markets, specialty stores? What do you do?
Now, I've just started doing farmers markets because there's 2 by my house. And I told myself, I was like, 1, I want to support local farmers, but 2, this is where the better things are. Mm-hmm. And it really makes a big difference. Because even if you're going to Ralph's and Walmart and nothing against the places, but if you actually look at the products, you can see the difference between that and buying something with a local farmer. Yeah. So I just started doing farmers markets. I'll shop there's a pavilions by my house that I actually really enjoy. But it depends on what I need. Vegetables, I'll get at a better place. My meats, I obviously cut red meat out, so I don't use the grocery store much. I actually will go to a butcher because of my job. Now too. We're real friends with a lot of butchers and resource places that we use, that I'll just go out my way and be like, hey, I'll call my boy Frank. He works at Papa's in Burbank. Hey, can I just get a couple pieces of chicken or whatever? And those end up being the way better products than if I were to go to a store. So, and even I noticed that changing my stomach as well. So it's really just thinking deeper on how to fix your gut issues and your health stuff. And it's definitely worth it.
For the veggies, are you going to the farmers markets for the veggies? Mm-hmm. And then for the meats, you're going to the butcher? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, we know that butchers and farmers markets are not by everyone. No. But if you do have this available, I think it's a great idea, because I had to start doing it. It can get a little expensive sometimes, depending on what state you're in or city or whatever. But it's definitely worth it if you are struggling and just cannot figure it out. And I have had the same things when I travel. Oh my gosh. I got sick when I used to go overseas when I've gone to the islands especially, and I would come back, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I have some like stomach bug or something?
Yeah.
And I couldn't, it would hurt so bad when I would eat just regular food that I would eat here. So, wow. Oh my gosh. Thanks for even bringing that up, because I didn't even think about it. And you can also look at online. I know you've seen where it's like, okay, you have on one side, it's like what they have any other country. And then on our side, you have all the stuff that's restricted from those countries. Why are we doing this?
Man, it's a question everybody.
FDA, like what can we do? Like, I feel like we should talk to some legislation or something. I feel like I will end up doing something like this. Yeah. Because I am sick of it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I know other people are. And maybe when like the moms get tired of their kids getting sick or something like that. Because when the mom groups get together, honey, things get done.
Okay.
It gets done. So maybe they'll know, or maybe someone is already in the works of getting something like that done, but who knows?
Man, who knows how long it would even take to get it approved or anything. But it makes me want to move to a different country.
Oh my gosh. I wish I loved another country so much to move. I don't really have anything that I'm in love with yet. Yeah. But who knows what the future may hold. You never know.
I know, that's why I'm scared. I'm supposed to go to France next month. My best friend lives there. And she looks amazing, first of all, her skin and her body, everything. And I know it's because of the way she's eating there. Ooh. And I'm scared because if I go, I'm not going to want to come back.
She's like, I'm flawless over here. Oh my gosh.
I thrive.
I am thriving. I'm in my glow era.
Okay. I am a phenomenal woman here.
What are some go-to ingredients or techniques you use to make meals gut-friendly and delicious for yourself then?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say so much technique-wise. I think I would just choose the right products. So replacing my butters with vegan butter, using I don't use peanut oil, which is what a lot of people use for like frying and other stuff. And what I realized recently is how much people can be really sensitive towards seed oils in general, which is, I understand the coconut oil situation. So even replacing it with that coconut oil, or just using like a seed oil that works for you. So grapeseed oil is the one I use because that works well with me. And just kind of replacing things that you would normally use or use before with better things. So I might not eat meat anymore, so I replace that with eating more cauliflower and eating more mushrooms and just eating an unlimited amount of vegetables. And that's helped me so much. And it's taught me to really get creative with what I have in my fridge already, or just how to actually enjoy vegetables properly. So yeah, it's not so much like certain techniques. It's really just getting creative and doing some research on what vegetables you actually like. And a lot of stuff's going to be trial and error, but it definitely is worth it after that.
Have you found that your sensitivities have affected how you prepare something for someone else? Or do you find you don't really allow that to affect a client or someone that you're cooking for?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm like, because this is for them, not for me. Even at work, what I'll have, like certain things that I know I can't eat, I have my assistant there with me, and he tries stuff for me because he's an amazing cook as well. So I'll just be like, hey, like, can you try this? Because in general, in a kitchen, it's usually easier or like a good tester to have somebody else to try your food, right? So I usually just will ask somebody like, hey, can you just try this piece of pork for me? Like, make sure, because everybody's really respectful about me being on my diet and my sensitivities. So I'll try to be like, take that into consideration, but I want the other person, whatever I'm making, and it's whatever they want, I want them to have what they want. Yeah. And want them to enjoy it. And I still know how to prep those things properly for them. Because at the end of the day, it's about them and making sure they're satisfied and loving what they eat on their plate as well.
I love that you mentioned that, because I think a lot of times people think because you don't eat something that you don't know how to cook the other stuff.
Which
And
happens a lot.
I was like, you do realize a lot of people cook things that they don't eat themselves. That happens actually a lot. And or they change their diet, or they ended up having some health concern and can't eat this type of stuff anymore. But they've been cooking things for so long, especially chefs. I mean, I'm assuming in school you learn how to do everything, even if you don't like, if you don't like it.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff you make, you're probably not gonna like it. It is what it is. Or you might, or you like it, but you don't eat it because it's gonna break your diet. That happens a lot too.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure your food's good. So that's what matters.
Absolutely. I can see that happening, but I just love to hear it from a chef that, listen, this is not the case.
Yeah.
So stop questioning people.
Yeah. I mean, you can question all you want, but, it all depends on the chef for sure.
Absolutely. What are the biggest obstacles you face when trying to change your eating habits? What are is it just the cravings?
Ooh, man. Yeah, that's, yes. It's the cravings. It's I miss the experience of a certain dish and I just want it now. Also has to do with cravings. Oh man, at the end of the day, it's just discipline. It really comes down to you actually wanting to keep up with your body and knowing it affects it, and you being disciplined and mature enough to be like, yes, this is going to affect me in so many ways. I'll be okay if I don't have it. It's really a lot of acceptance. I'll go back. It's a lot of acceptance and a lot of discipline. For sure. You're just like, oh man, but it's okay. And knowing that there is food just as great as whatever you're craving, and everything can be substituted. You just gotta find it.
Awesome. What are some of the worst eating habits you have?
Oh boy. Worst eating habits. Snacking. Oh Jesus. I am a snacker. At work, it's really bad, and I realized how bad it was since I've been on this new diet. And I've been trying to just snack on better things. Like I used to snack on like chips and like very sugary granola bars, Cheez-Its. So I replaced it with snacking on oranges. Oh my God, the amount of oranges I go through in a day. I feel so bad for our HR team because they replace them. And I eat all of them.
That's a good snack though. What are some of the worst snacks that you eat? Do you eat horrible snacks on set, or just like in general in life? Like you're like, oh my gosh, every blue moon I gotta have like a bag of chips or
chips. I love chips.
What type of chips?
Hawaiian chips are my favorite. Have you ever had those? Oh,
yeah, back in the day. Yep, I used to love them.
They're so oily now if I were to try to bite one. Chips was probably my worst one. Eating hot Cheeto Puffs was my worst habit. So I had to change it to healthier chips. So I'll eat like veggie sticks, which I actually enjoy now. Or I'll snack on dried fruit a lot of the time. Turn that into my chips.
Yeah.
I'll snack on some like nuts or granola, or some type of. Lately, I realized how much my palate's been changing, and I used to not like chocolate at all, but I've been snacking on chocolate.
Okay, guilty pleasure.
Dark chocolate, yeah.
Dark chocolate,
yeah. And I've been enjoying it, and I don't know who I am anymore. That, and I always feel like I need to do a better job of drinking water. Like, even though I only drink water, period, I need to drink more of it. And I try to make excuses and be like, oh, well, I have so much to do. I'm moving around the kitchen. I don't have time to slow down. That's something that's on my goals list this year, of just being better about staying hydrated. And
I need to stay hydrated right now.
I know, I'm like, I got my water right here. I'm on my third one already today.
Hydration.
Hydration, get it here.
So I'm like, speaking of. Okay, just a few more questions before we move on to the next segment. What are some of your favorite survival foods? Because you just said your mom taught you survival foods. What are some of your favorite survival foods? For college students especially. Any tips for college students
I'm like,
on a budget?
What age group? Because it's different every age group.
I would say college students because, you know, when I was in college, I always needed my survival food. My go-to was rice and sausage. And my dad taught me this survival food. This is like poor people's survival food. He was like, listen, he's from Philly. So he's like, if you ever get into a situation where you don't have any money, you can survive off of rice and meat. And I'm like, okay. So I would make those beef sausages, and I would put like a little bit of herbs and stuff on them, and just some rice, and that was one of my survival foods. So, you know, college students, you can go ahead and do something like that. I can't eat sausage now, but if you can eat sausage, if you can't eat sausage, just throw some meat in there. Any kind of meat. Yeah. It doesn't even matter.
Any kind of meat. Yeah. College-wise, wow. I didn't eat that much ramen noodles. Okay, people always say that. I didn't eat noodles. I would say rice for sure. I'm not a big fan of frozen food now, but then it helped me tremendously.
Yeah, what was your favorite go-to frozen meal?
I would buy just like whole pieces of chicken breast from Costco. Okay. I would go with my mom, or she'd send me money, and I knew that would be worth it because it would just be for a long time. And then I would get a pack of frozen vegetables and just do the same thing. Put it over rice, eat it by itself. I'm half Mexican, so I used to put everything in tortillas. You will survive on tortillas and cheese also, okay? It will get you a long way. If you're hungry, make you a quesadilla. Packs of tortillas are big for the low. You can do a lot of things with it. You can make chips out of it. Okay?
I actually do make chips out of tortilla, the corn tortilla shells. Way better. It's so much better. I do it over the skillet, but again, now that gives me heartburn because your girl is not in college anymore.
Oh, yeah. No,
I have to watch. I have to do this sparingly.
That college belly was crazy, okay?
Yeah,
quesadillas with every meal.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I think another survival food I think I have for college students would be something that's healthier. I mean, sandwiches are always, but I wasn't a huge sandwich person. I never loved like burritos or sandwiches all the time.
My heart.
I know. I didn't love it like that growing up. I think I got tired of it. Maybe because when I was a little kid for lunch, elementary school and just grade school, I always had like sandwiches and stuff like that. So it just, and I really think that it was the bread, having too much bread all the time.
Oh, the gluten maybe?
Yeah, and I think unconsciously, because you know I can't do gluten, I think my body was telling me like, I don't like this. This is too much. But we didn't know nothing about no gluten back in the day.
Like, yeah, nope. Everyone's like glue.
Gluten what? Nobody cared. My mom was like, go ahead, eat that now. Like, you know. So yeah, I would say veggies and rice, another rice dish. If again, I would just say veggies and rice is another survival food that you can make that fresh and cheap. That can be cheap as well. Brown rice, for the people that don't like brown rice, maybe like a wild rice. White rice kind of processes into that sugar, but I would say maybe
brown rice is good.
Brown rice is good.
I kept a lot of beans with me.
Okay.
I love beans, so I always could just drag them, and even if you get a pack of it, and actually beans aren't that hard to make from a pack. It's just obviously time.
You mean the dry ones?
The dry ones, yes, correct.
Yes.
Not the canned, the like actual pound of beans, like that will take you a long way, and you can get it for the low.
I used to be able to eat beans. I cannot eat beans any longer.
Really?
No beans. No.
Man,
it
I'm
hurts
fighting on so many things about you.
I literally can't eat shit. I can't. It hurts my stomach very bad. Immediately, I know when it's in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, but back when I was in college, I could. So if your gut is still good and you can handle that, there you go. We got the survival foods.
Okay, bean and cheese burritos. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's wrap this up with what is one of your favorite dishes you've made on Mythical Kitchen?
Oh, man. So many people ask me this question. Oh, man. So many things. Dang, that's hard.
Just one is fine.
One
of your favorites. It don't have to be the most favorite. Just one of your favorites where you're like, oh my gosh, I loved this.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm trying to think of like episodes. You know what? So we have a segment. It's called Fancy Fast Food, and where we take fast food items and make them out of all fancy ingredients. And we did one for Jollibee, where if anybody who doesn't know what Jollibee is, it's a Filipino fast food restaurant. I don't know if it's worldwide or across the country, but it is in LA. And they have their fried chicken is my favorite. Like, I like it more than Popeyes, to be honest. And there's just something, they put sugar in their mix, so this chicken's a little bit, or the brine, so it's a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. But we recreated the chicken and we made like a Szechuan 5-spice fried chicken, and I could not stop eating it.
Yes.
It was so good. And anybody who knows anything about Szechuan peppers,
I don't know nothing about no Szechuan.
Yeah.
What is Szechuan?
It's just a type of peppercorn, Chinese peppercorn, and it makes your lips a little numb, which is insane if you have a lot of it. But
so it's super spicy.
It's not super spicy. It's just really spiced.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
I do understand.
It's a strong spice, but it's not spicy. And you
might go
this
numb.
Chicken. Yeah, you eat your face. My whole lips went numb eating this chicken, but I could not stop. It was so good, and I think about that chicken all the time.
Wow, that's awesome. That's good.
Mm-hmm. It was so good.
What advice do you have for people who are trying to transition to a cleaner, more gut-friendly diet?
Advice. Just, I almost said the F word.
That's all right. I mean, we're
I was
saying
like, am
shit.
I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, I mean, my title is I Can't Eat Shit, so.
Okay, I'm like, what's the...
Yeah, we can bleep it if it's too far.
Okay. I was going to say, just just freaking do it. Like, don't just stop. You have to really be disciplined, but to actually stop and be disciplined, like, have a plan first. Don't just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go buy vegetables at the grocery store. Like, actually sit down and be like, okay, this is what I can make with these vegetables. This is what to still enjoy myself. Write down a grocery list. Be like, okay, or just write down a list here. Let me go back. I would start with a list of foods, like, of your habits on how you eat now. Mm-hmm. And then look at that list, grab it, make another list on what you can replace those things with. Like, hey, okay, I'm trying to cut out red meat. I eat a lot of tri-tip. I eat a lot of sirloin. I eat a lot of this, whatever. What are the things I can replace with this? Okay, I can replace cauliflower, mushrooms. I can just eat chicken or turkey, right? Here are my proteins. One, you'll save a lot of money. Eating vegetables, you really will. And you just gotta do it, and you have to really, really want it, because the more you want it, you'll notice how quick your body's gonna change. I even see now how quick, like, my gut's even, like, gone down. Like, yes, I've, like, worked out too, but I knew most of, like, my belly weight was from eating, and, like,
it's totally the diet.
Yeah. So I realized how, like, even now my stomach's shrunk a lot. And it's like, oh, shoot. And it happened so fast. And it's going to motivate you to keep going. So just, like, have a plan, be disciplined, and actually stick to it. Like, yeah, you're going to have your cravings and bad days. And you can still have cheat days as long as they are reasonable. You know what I mean? Like, don't don't go eat fried foods and like mess it up. Like actually, there's like, we live here, where we live, you're gonna find something. There's so much food everywhere. You're gonna be able to find something that's good and that works for you. So just do it, Nike. Okay.
They are not a sponsor.
Just do it. Just do it. Have a plan and
holla at me.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're gonna move on to our cooking segment. There's another way to do that. So let's go ahead and get into that. This segment is called There's Another Way to Do That, where I teach you how to modify recipes based on my restrictions. But for season 2, I'm making some of my guests' favorite dish. So, Chef Vianai, tell me about your favorite dish.
Ooh, so I have 2 favorite dishes, but my main one is sushi. Oh, I love sushi so much. I can have it every day. I don't know if that's good for me or not, but I love it. I love how simple it is. I love how graceful it looks on my plate. I love that it's all my favorite things: rice, seaweed, and some type of avocado, maybe, or sauce, and a protein.
Oh, that's so good. It's like a perfection.
It's nice.
It looks very pretty. You're right. You can look very pretty and creative on plates.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think people usually get wrong when they make sushi?
The grade of fish that they use. A lot of people, yes, you can use store-bought salmon, for example. I'm very particular about what kind of fish I use. If I'm going to get store-bought salmon, or if I'm going to buy salmon for sushi specifically, I'm going to go to a seafood store or a market. And even the one that I use in the Valley, it's called Fish King. It's amazing. And
I've been to Fish King.
Yeah, I love Fish King. And we always buy our seafood there for the show. So they know it's there. But getting the right grades of fish, 1, so you don't get sick, and 2, it just tastes better. I cure my salmon too, or I'll cure my
What does
fish.
that mean?
It's basically letting it sit in salt overnight.
Okay.
And then penetrating the layer of meat.
That almost starts to cook it like ceviche, right?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
More of it cooking in acid. Which is the lemon juice. A lot of people, that's like more of a natural cooking.
Okay. This
is more of just like a curing to penetrate the skin and make it taste better, or to make it firm it up. It's just nice. It's a good way to keep your sushi. I would say, your grade of fish, making sure you have the right one. Seasoning your rice is what a lot of people don't do. Which is okay if you don't, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it definitely is the traditional way of doing it.
What would you season your rice with? Like just salt?
Salt, sugar, rice vinegar, and a little bit of water. Just a little bit.
Is this while it's cooking, or is this after?
This is after.
Okay, so you got the rice and then you stir it in, and that's the correct way.
Yes,
to make the rice.
Yeah, you want.
I definitely just put salt.
A little stickier or a little sweeter, and that's the way I like the rice. So, I usually season it when it's finished.
Interesting. Okay, that's really that. I never knew that. Okay, I thought you were gonna say something like the way that they cut the fish, because I have definitely been to sushi restaurants where I felt like the way that they cut the fish just made it taste bad.
That does matter, yes.
It's like chunky, like I definitely where I'm like, why is it so big? It's like a steak.
I think it does.
I'm like, ugh.
I think it depends on, 1, the restaurant you go to, 1, the style of Japanese chef, probably how they like to cut it. I like to make it chunky, but we call them julienne strips, which is basically like, I think of like my finger, right? Like I have a little skinny finger, and long finger, but I always kind of compare it to this size or my pinky. Like this, and we call it, usually when they're in straight strips like that, we call them julienne cuts, and I do that to all like the vegetables, everything, and it just makes everything even within your sushi roll.
Okay.
So yeah, how it cuts, yes, that matters. What kind of knife you use to actually cut the sushi also matters, because you want a really good knife. I use a Japanese knife, and it just glides a lot better because you got to think that the rice is sticky, so it might mess up your cut. But also, if you want it to look pretty, your knife matters. If you're just like, oh, I'm gonna just eat it, then obviously, do your thing.
Do a hand roll.
Yeah, do a hand roll.
Wrap that boy around.
Wherever you want to.
Yeah.
Baby girl.
Yes. And what are some of your favorite toppings, sauces, or sides to have with sushi?
Ooh, I just became a wasabi girl. It's very new in my taste buds. Horseradish and wasabi. I absolutely love wasabi, and I need that. And I love sauces, so I always need at least 3 sauces. Soy sauce for sure. It's just like a natural one to have. Very big unagi sauce person. I liked it. It's really sweet, and I like to just
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's eel sauce basically.
Yeah.
And just dip it in that, and then I like having either a chili oil that I can drizzle on top, or having spicy mayo on the side.
Okay. Very interesting. And how do you think I will do creating something, my version of this? This will be my first time making sushi, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited for you. I think sushi is a really easy thing to substitute meat in. Because one, if you love avocados as much as I do, that's all you need.
You're like, you think it'll be simple for me.
Yeah.
You think it'll be easy.
It's like a burrito. You can put anything in it to make it work for you. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? And there are like a lot of fusion places that are beginning to pop up that have it where it almost looks like a burrito, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you're saying
I will eat those.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen it?
Now I want it now. I order one after this.
Awesome. We'll be back with Shondalia's Inside Scoop after this month's There's Another Way to Do That cooking segment. This is There's Another Way to Do That, where I teach you how to modify recipes based on my restrictions. For Season 2, I'm modifying recipes inspired by my guests. So let's get into it. Chef Vianai loves sushi. I love sushi, but I've never made it. So I'm going to start by making an avocado veggie roll. I got this new knife and I'm pretty proud of it. We made sushi before, but she pretty much made it because she's a chef and she took over. I'm sure there's a tactic to this. Probably a better tactic than what I'm doing, but this is what I'm doing because there's always another way to do that. Oh, that's a really good carrot. It's so sweet. Oh, shit. I gotta be careful. That's a new knife. I'm about to cut my damn hand off. Oh, it actually tastes really good. I didn't trust it. It's like a burrito. Or a blunt. So good. This is Shondalia's Inside Scoop, where my life is a trivia question. You've heard of food trivia, but this is personal. On Shondalia's Inside Scoop, my dietary drama is your game. Let's see if you can guess what's true. The game is simple. I'll ask you 3 questions based on my own personal health and wellness, and you'll let me know how well you know me based on how you answer. So let's get into that.
Yay! I love games.
Yay! Okay, awesome. So the first question is, which alcohol gives me heartburn?
All of them.
A. A, red wine.
Oh.
B, vodka. C, tequila. D, all the above.
I feel like this is a trick question. I'm gonna go with wine.
You are correct!
Yeah! like, wait, vodka is gluten-free. And tequila is the purest form, like the cleanest, low-calorie form of alcohol. I was like, wine would probably mess with her stomach the most. Yep.
It does. Look at this chef. Look at this chef knowing her thing. Look at how well she know it. And I love me some red wine, but honey, it started giving me the worst. The worst heartburn. I have switched. Melbeck's do me pretty good most of the time, but I've just had to cut back so much because I used to love a good Merlot. And now I can't. Yeah, it's just like, I'm like, oh gosh, no.
Hell.
Enzymes. Enzymes for everything for me to do that's wrong.
Okay.
Okay, question number 2. You're doing great.
Okay.
Everyone that watches my There's Another Way to Do That cooking segments, they know that I make most things from scratch due to additives.
Okay.
Do I make my own almond milk? Yes or no?
Yes.
No, but I want to.
You know what's crazy? I feel like I'm trying to think because I've been to your house before.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is something she would do.
It is something I would do. And listen, I am totally about to buy one of those things this year and start learning how to make my own milk, but I haven't done it yet.
Dang it. I was going to say,
you were so
does that count?
You get a half a point for knowing me.
Okay.
You're like, you are going to do this.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, she probably doesn't, but yeah, my brain was
this
like,
is a trick question. That was a trick one. I had to because you do know me too well.
Yeah.
You do.
I'm testing myself.
Okay, question number 3. You're still doing great. You're doing good.
Okay.
You're still in there. We got 1 for 1.
I'm on it.
Nowadays, there are a lot more restaurants that accommodate for restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier for me to A, go out to eat, B, stay home and cook, C, have my meals prepped by a meal prep company such as like HelloFresh or Blue Apron or something like that, or D, all the above?
I would say D, all the above. Because restaurants are such a big variety that you can find something that works for you. And there are some that are like gluten-free, allergy-free, and you can go. And then, yes, of course, you're going to make your own meals. And then there are also prep companies that have the same restriction opportunities. So I'm going to say D.
You saying D?
Yeah.
You are not correct.
Dang it. I'm over here trying to reason my answer. I'm assuming it's you making your own foods.
It is. That's the it's B.
I was gonna guess, but I was like, nowadays it's so possible to be okay.
Yeah, it is possible. You are completely right. Everything you said. The problem with me is because I have so many restrictions, such as I have the gluten, I have the dairy, and I have like the spices. That's a very hard thing that a lot of people, it's not about it being spicy, but I actually like peppers, for example, they give me inflammation. Even
see,
sweet
we're
peppers.
going deeper.
Yeah.
Because I think I know that you can eat shit, but I'm like, how deep is it?
It's pretty deep.
That's one thing I don't know about you.
Yes.
How deep the line is, you know?
Yes. I talk about it in actually, I think episode 1 and 2 about like how I found all those things. And then I get into like the things that cause heartburn as well.
I do remember that.
All that stuff. And
oh my God. Memory's terrible.
No, it's okay. It's all right. But one of the things is like, it's not, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not spicy. For example, like paprika or something. I love paprika, but I can't use it anymore because I didn't realize it's not spicy at all. But something with peppers specifically makes my body inflamed. So I had to cut it out. Then also cashews, for example.
Really?
A lot of vegan places.
Oh my God.
A lot of vegan places have cashew stuff or something mixed with cashews, and pistachios is another one. Those two, which most people are peanuts, you know, but for me, it ain't working.
Yeah. Man. Oh man, it's so much deeper than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, it gets real deep up in here.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yes.
I thought I had that one.
That's all right. You were so close. Well, Chef Vianai was able to guess what was partially true, but not fully true, so we're going to give her half the credit. But check us out next time for Shondalia's Inside Scoop. Let's wrap this thing up. I hope this episode helps you look at restrictions in a different way than you normally would, and also learn a lot more about Chef Vianai and her personal menu and how she's had to rework that based on her restrictions. As you can see, chefs sometimes have restrictions as well, but they can still do the job and do it well. Take it from me. Take care of your body so it can take care of you, or you're going to be dealing with a lot of shit. Chef Vianai, thank you so much for doing my podcast. I was so happy to have you here. Please tell everyone where they can find you, what you got coming up.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter at Vianai Austin. You can also follow my food art page. That's super new. I make a lot of fun prints and food paintings at Via Art. You can also find me over on our YouTube channel, which is Mythical Kitchen, everything mythical. And yeah, that's me.
Yes! Oh my gosh! It's so exciting. Thank you so much again, V. So happy to have you.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was amazing. I loved it.
Awesome. This has been I Can't Eat Shit Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I really appreciate all of you. It means so much to me. If you like what you saw and or heard today, go ahead and like, share, subscribe I Can't Eat Shit Podcast on YouTube or wherever you stream your podcast. If you watch me, there's bonus material. There's another way to do that. My full cooking segment where I teach you how to modify recipes based on my restrictions. They're oh so good, so make sure you check them out. You can also check me out on Instagram at I Can't Eat Shit Podcast or at Shondalia White. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. I Can't Eat Shit! I Can't Eat Shit Podcast is not a replacement for a medical professional. If you need help, seek out a trained medical professional, nutritionist, or therapist to help you with your specific needs.